Hello again. I just woke up, so if I sound drowsy, that's the reason why. Somebody called me and woke me up. I have a meeting with them later on. I'm outside. On this occasion, I'm using a croc, a croc sandal to represent distance or travel, etc. In this in this part of my investigation, again investigating the toxic workplace we sometimes have to deal with, I'm going to talk about a female. Her name is Monica. Most people will not remember her. This happened around 10 years ago. I mentioned her in my original video, but this time I'm going to use names. I'll try to use primarily first name basis. Monica is very nice. She was very nice. She's of Mexican origin. She was visiting from Texas as a TDY. And this is the female that, again, I don't know what to say sometimes. I'm either the luckiest or the most unfortunate guy in the world that all these things happen to. I mean, if somebody else told me all these things happening to them at work, I would actually say, man, I think this person's exaggerating or making things up because it's just too much. But once again, I wish that were the case. I wish that were the case, and it's not. Again, I get off track a lot. So, but once again, Monica, I hope she's okay wherever she is in Texas, if she's still there. A few years ago, I checked on the system; she was still working for a federal system. But somebody that will remember her are two people. Evelyn Cruz should remember her because I went to her after the incident, and Martin. Why Martin? Well, after Monica, like I mentioned in my original video, in her temporary office, after she offered me hanky-panky time at the nearest hotel of my choosing, I discovered via HR, via Evelyn, that, well, she did not just do that with me. So again, it's not that I'm making things up or I'm exaggerating, but once again, she called me to her office. She described to me her overwhelming desire to satisfy a certain sexual condition that she had. I actually suggested maybe she needed help, maybe she needed, medical help or even psychological help. She started crying after that. Actually, no, she was already crying. Sorry, she was already crying, almost in a begging manner. And then she got worse when I told her, I have a family and I have a wife, and that's when she even said, hey, that's the reason I like you. When I met you like a week ago, you talk so well about your family. I like that about you, she said. Well, and I made it clear I did not want to ruin such a thing. And I mean, to me, this is a physically well put together female. It's not that she's unattractive at all. On the contrary. But the point here being is, once again, I think the neighbor's baby's crying or something. Once again, this is the life of a man at the workplace. Unfortunately, most men will take advantage of situations like that. I'm going to be honest. I've never done that in my entire life. Especially in a situation where you feel that a female is vulnerable, taking advantage of people. That's not me. But I've never done that at all. I've never been unfaithful to my wife. Never planned to. And although in some of my comments that HR found, it may sound like that was my intention with Chula, but that was just humor. That was just a joke. And once again, that's why I laugh so much. I know HR said that I was a bit disrespectful because I tended to laugh at some of the things They read back to me because I didn't have my reading glasses. But that's because it was humor. I've always seen it as humor. I laugh because of humorous things. The point is, again, this is the environment that men have to deal with. Most men take advantage of that situation or these situations. But again, it's still an issue. It's still a problem. Because women should not be offering themselves this easily and frequently, at least in my experience, to men. Because it can easily, from one second to the next, be turned around and you're accused of something. And sad to say, women run more on emotions, men on logic. Men sometimes think logically, unfortunately, with their second head. I mean, that's the truth. It's in my case again, that's just not me. That's just not me. And Martin remembers her. He doesn't work there anymore. He, like me, we were removed. And it's funny, funny because in this case, in Monica's case, she offered herself to him, to Martin. She offered herself to me, and yet who are out of a job? The guys are, not the women. So you see, when you look at the bigger and the broader picture, women provoke a lot. Like I've mentioned before, women provoke. But then if they have some kind of regret or some kind of last minute mind change, they can seriously get you in trouble. Now, the reason why I know Martin and Monica had an issue of this same nature was because Evelyn Cruz herself told me. Because when I went to her office and I told her, hey, this is what happened to me a few days ago with the TDY, she laughed. She was laughing and laughing and laughing. And then I told her, you believe in me? Or, because she laughed so much. Again, she could laugh, but I can't laugh, It's ironic how HR can laugh at serious things. But if I laugh at the same serious thing, even less serious, I'm disrespectful. Exactly. You tell him, God. It's about to rain. But the point is that, and again, Martin, if you're listening, which I doubt, I think there's probably a bunch of misfits watching my videos. That's the double standard, the gross double standard, the toxic environment. Me Too ideology does not correct this in women. Me Too trainings do not mention, hey ladies, you should not provoke men, you should not invite them for sex, you should not. It's always, blame is always on men, unfortunately. The blame is always on men. And the laws and policies are catered to remove the man. Because again, after all these years, me saying these things to human resources, no female that I'm aware of has ever gotten in trouble. But if a man just makes, again, like in my case, private comments of much lesser things, well, you guys already know I lost my job. Isn't that amazing? How human resources fails us. How Me Too only represents women. Again, there's no equality with these ideologies, and that's what makes them dangerous. That's what makes them dangerous. When there's no equality, when there's no true equality, I will emphasize that, in any ideology, that is dangerous. And it's surprising, especially at a court system, which supposedly represents justice for all. I remember there's the salute in the flag, justice for all. Remember, when people mention that? No, there is no justice for all. And don't think that because you work for the justice system, don't think there's justice for you. That's a false. U.S. District Court of Puerto Rico is so fake and so false. The point is, again, I see a lot of breaches here. Because why did Evelyn Cruz even have to tell me that Martin had an issue with her? That should be held confidential. Is there a policy on confidentiality here? I'm pretty sure there is, but once again, who's watching the watchers? Who is equally and fairly applying all the policies to everyone, equally and fairly? No. You see, you see how it's easy to use policies when it's convenient, particularly to target somebody, because you can fire literally all of these people I mentioned, including the top big guys from probation, for doing worse, than what I did. You can fire them all, but once again, um, it seems to me that policies and canons and laws are used when they want to target somebody, when they find it, well, we don't like him, we don't like his attitude, we don't, whatever, whatever conclusion they want to reach. So again, you can find even judges, like I mentioned. Morgan, touched me inappropriately. Carreño, with her sexiness, and on. There's something about Besosa I haven't mentioned, which I could mention as well. But once again, Monica, I know you're not listening. These videos are boring. That's why I call it boring productions. It's me venting. It's me doing my own investigation, because I keep finding more in my clear recollection. I keep finding more. To quote Ada Garcia, I can find more. Well, she says she can find more. She never mentioned the more she found at the appeal. I personally forgot to ask what that more was. But in the end, sweetie, I can find more and worse on your entire institution. On the entire institution that you in U.S. District Court is running right now. And Judge Arias is running that right now as Chief Judge. And that is sad. That is sad because, again, the environment, the workplace environment, is unjust for men when it comes to this subject. And more men are going to continue to be fired for the little things. But the big things that the women do, oh, that's okay. She's probably going through something. She's probably going through her changes. She probably had a bad childhood. She probably, again, it seems like we justify everything for women, but all men are pigs. That's the conclusion, again, of HR. And unfortunately, since HR are all women, in my experience, they're going to side with each other. They're going to show empathy for each other, but not for others. One thing I've always noticed is that women have empathy from their level down, but not from their level up. They don't. They don't understand the struggles men go through. Because for a man to constantly resist these sexual advances from women, that's not easy. See, and that's another thing that also needs to be seen in the bigger picture. Because again, if Judge Arias is going to tell me, no, focus on you, no, I cannot just focus on me. Because this is a bigger cancer. This is an institutional cancer. You just can't focus on one person. You have to focus on the entire lake. If the lake is contaminated, you can't ask, well, why did you fish, why are you showing these symptoms? You fish, you. And you try to tell the inspector, well, the whole lake is contaminated. No, let's focus on you. Yeah, but no, you can't. You see, and that's the greater injustice. To me, what's a corrupt judge? A judge that that's not even a judge to me. That's just a person with a job. A true judge would really dig deep, especially if you're running the place. Ignoring the toxicity, the poison, the bigger picture. Deliberately. Because I'm pretty sure they sat together before I went there, and they went through a bunch of things together, and they planned and again conspired, and that's how I see it. But again, going back to Monica, I know you're not listening, but what you did was really not fair, and what people like you, like all the others I mentioned, it's not fair. It's not fair for you guys, for you women to provoke, for you women to not dress properly, for you women to offer yourselves, hanky-panky wise, for you women to come around and wink and hiss and put yourselves in provocative positions and postures. And a man is supposed to be a machine about this. But again, it is very normal. What you guys actually do is normal. What you women do is actually normal. Because you're looking for attention, you're looking for validation. It's normal. But when a man also responds normally, that is what's considered a problem. Again, who has more freedom? Who has more freedom, men or women? Obviously women. Because for thousands of years, men and women have interacted that way. For thousands of years, a man will go to a woman and say something nice, give her a flower, give her a little poem, give her, say something, nice, be attracted. I mean, if you're a man, you're supposed to be attracted by the opposite sex, not by a tree or a rock or something. All these behaviors from men and women are actually natural, but the policies are put together, misandrily speaking, to only condemn men's natural response and men's natural instincts. But women can do whatever the heck they want. Women can be as natural and as free as possible, but not a man. So if a woman does all these things and a man responds and all of a sudden she changes her mind because all she wanted was attention and validation, he's out of the picture. Again, we're not even using science here to do things the right way, the just way, the fair way. So Judge Arias, if you're listening, which I doubt, let's stick to science and not law, because law, in many cases, is violating science. Again, the interaction between men and women have been the same for thousands of years, but in the last few decades, we are banning, we're canceling, we're demonizing the behavior of men, but not the behavior of women. Again, Monica did that. Evelyn Cruz remembers. She confirmed that Martin had a similar issue with her. Crickets. Nothing has happened. The two guys are out of a job because it's not just her, a lot of women provoke. They pull back, but then the guy is left without a job. I mean, in his case, I'm not going to say anything about his case. I don't want to embarrass anybody. But I did nothing with the female, and I did not want to. And I'm going to be honest. I was attracted to her. She's a girl. She's a female. I'm a man. And even if you're married, again, I know women get triggered on this. Married? You're not supposed to. It's nature. It's in nature. I mean, I've had my wife for years sometimes say, "Oh, Chayanne, he's so this." The famous Puerto Rican singer. He's so hot. He's so this. He's so this. Women are also attracted by men even when they're married. But it's okay for women to do that. It's okay for women to do that. I mean, why do you think Elvis Presley was so famous? Because just of his voice? No, he had a somewhat mediocre voice. It was his shaking his behind on stage. That's why Elvis and a lot of married women, oh, Elvis Presley. And men would just probably laugh. The husband would probably laugh. Yeah. But in today's age, again, only men are demonized for the same exact behavior, the same exact natural behavior that we all have, instinctive behaviors. We should find laws and policies that actually address both sides of natural behavior within the Western society. So, again, that's my outtake on Monica. And my investigation will continue. And if I mention you, I'm sorry, I might embarrass you. But if the courts have the rights, or any entity have the rights to investigate concerns, well, I'm investigating this concern. Because this is a global thing, in my opinion. Remember, Monica was not even from Puerto Rico. She was a TDY from Texas, and apparently that's who she is, and maybe she does the same thing over there. But I think we can do better. I consider myself now an amateur reporter, independent reporter, investigating a reality that is very sad to our modern time. And once again, I don't think women should dominate HR. I think there should be men and women, masculine men, not beta males that are almost female. And we should have laws that are not feminist or not just pro-women. We should have laws that are pro-morality. Let's just call it that. I don't know what else to call it, but we should just have canons or laws that are fair. HR knows deep inside that men are the ones that are, in situations like this, men are the ones that will lose. They know it, but they're not going to say it. And again, when you know something's bad and you still go along with it, and this goes with Judge Arias, like I said before, that's like Nazi Germany in the 30s. That a lot of German people went along with an ideology that marginalized another group of people, but they went along with it still. They still went along with it, even though that deep down, a lot of Germans knew this is wrong. This is not right. And again, somebody might say, well, but that's a bit extreme. Well, things start out simple. Things start out baby steps, and then eventually it might even get worse. Who knows what we will be in 10 or 20 years. Well, that's my outtake on my further investigation with Monica, me, Jose, the IT guy, Evelyn Cruz, and Martin. Till next time.